learned in this than I am.
Oh, jeez. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you all. For those that I haven't had a chance to meet, my name is John McKenzie. I'm the CEO of the TMX Group, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Minister Lecce and all of our honored guests today on behalf of both the Toronto Stock Exchange and all of our colleagues at TMX to open the market and begin the trading day on a high note, no less. So thank you very much, Minister. I'd like to begin today the way we begin every market ceremony here at TMX Market Centre, acknowledging that the land that the Toronto Stock Exchange calls home is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And as TMX is an organization with a national footprint and operations all across this country, we are grateful for the rich Indigenous history, traditions, and contributions to our shared Canadian history. Now on to today's topic, which I am extremely excited about. At TMX, our corporate purpose is very simple. It's to make markets better and empower bold ideas. And making markets better includes making them more inclusive, more accessible, breaking down the barriers that have kept some segments of our society from fully participating in that prosperity we want to help create collectively. And I can't think of a better way to do that with improving financial literacy for our high school students, an extraordinarily important tool for economic inclusion and empowerment, and we are so pleased that you allowed us to be part of this announcement today. Our two premier marketplaces, the Toronto Stock Exchange and the TSX Venture Exchange, are home to more than 3,000 listed companies from every province, from every sector of the Canadian economy itself. And we are so proud of the contributions that we have all collectively made in building up the Canadian economy. And we know, though, that there's always more we can do. And it's initiatives like this that are another step on that journey. Now, making markets better also very simply means using our position at the center of the marketplace to advocate with policymakers, with partners, to drive strategies and initiatives that grow our economy and help that success for future generations. So we were extremely pleased when the Government of Ontario, through Minister Lecce and his team, reached out and asked us to host this morning's announcement. And we are excited to see the Ontario government taking such an important step in modernizing our education system by implementing financial literacy requirement for graduation, something that will benefit all of our kids and generations to come, and I hope becomes a model for other provinces across the country to follow. So I am personally looking forward to hearing more of what the Minister and the other speakers have to say on this initiative, and we are committed to remain part of that process to help design financial literacy education requirements going forward. And then hopefully, Minister, the next time we do a ceremony like this, it will be with teachers and with students as we celebrate their success in the program. So with that, let me know that you are welcome here anytime as we build this along. And now let me welcome you to the podium, the Honourable Stephen Lecce. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you very much, John. I do want to say thank you to your entire team at the Toronto Stock Exchange for this very warm welcome. Thank you very much. Happy to rally this morning with a positive start in green. So this is a good way to start the day. I also want to recognize my wonderful parliamentary assistant, Billy Pang, who is with us, and our great team of stakeholders, including Patty Levitt-Reid, Victor Vasilev, as well as many who've played a critical role in supporting our students as we strengthen financial literacy awareness, bring it to the forefront of our school system. Over the past weeks, our government announced a plan to restrict cell phones during class time, to remove social media from our school devices, to ban vaping and cannabis from our schools. We also introduced legislation to strengthen safeguards to help protect your child's privacy and data from artificial intelligence and social media and other online potential harms. And so now, I'm proud to share our next step as we prepare students for the future with real life and job skills. We are continuing to get back to basics by modernizing the Ontario Secondary School Diploma requirements for the first time in a generation. 25 years ago, the economy and technology were very different. There was no electric vehicles and social media and smartphones or even AI. So today, we recognize the new jobs and industries are disrupting the economy and the workplace around us. So we must ensure students are better prepared for the world of tomorrow. First, it's critical that students know how to create and manage a budget, to save for a home in their retirement, and how to protect themselves from financial fraud. Too many parents and employers and students themselves tell me that young people are graduating without the sufficient financial literacy or those basic life skills. So starting in September of 2025, grade 10 students will complete a new mandatory financial literacy graduation requirement as part of their math course. With this requirement, Ontario schools will have the highest level of expectation for their students on financial literacy competence. To graduate, students will need to obtain a mark of 70% or higher, and we'll be leveraging our partners at TVO and EQAO to deliver this program. We recognize how fundamental it is to improve learning in Ontario, and that's why the government has brought forth a plan in partnership with our experts at TVO and EQAO to roll this out. We also recognize that math skills are critically important in today's economy, and so we're taking action to ensure continued student improvement. And to boost strong math skills, we need to ensure our teachers also have strong competency in math too. So beginning in September of 2025, we're announcing that we'll be reinstating the requirement for Ontario and international teacher applicants to pass the math proficiency test. While we continue to focus on enhancing academic achievement, we also have to ensure that students graduate with those key life skills. So in addition to introducing Ontario's first financial literacy graduation requirement, we are also launching consultations on the reintroduction of a modernized home ec, or home economics education. Some of the practical life skills students may want to learn that we hear so often from their parents and employers and from students alike is the need to learn how to cook and understand good nutrition. Basic skills, changing a tire, sewing a button, signing a check, knowing how to shop on a budget, and applying basic first aid. We're making these changes to help students prepare for a life even well beyond the classroom. And it's become clear that local labor markets and various economic industries and sectors will require workers with specialized skills. Yes, the basics and much beyond. And it's why today we're announcing our plan to modernize our guidance and career education for the first time in 13 years, with updated additional qualifications for guidance counselors and imposed annual training to provide better value to students and greater connections to local jobs for these kids. And for the next school year, we're today announcing an additional $14 million of investment for new career coaches to help all grade 9 and 10 students learn about various careers in high-demand, diverse job opportunities, as well as to gain that practical job skills and that knowledge on how to write a resume or to do an interview. These career coaches, with the emphasis on skilled trades and STEM education, will complement the work of guidance teacher counselors. Finally, part of our overhaul of the OSSD, of our secondary diploma, is that we'll be providing students with more flexibility in the optional courses they can choose to graduate. Because currently students must meet requirements from 3 complicated compulsory course groupings. We're reducing the number of groupings from 3 to 1, while keeping the same number of credits students need to graduate. We're doing this because the new group will focus on STEM-related courses to provide students with a more competitive edge in a number of fields that matter to our economy, from math to science and to skilled trades. Along with the mandatory grade 9 and 10, the new technological education credit coming into effect this September for grade 9 and 10, these changes will help students prepare for the highly skilled jobs of the future. The modernized secondary diploma will change what it means to graduate from high school in this province. So by introducing Ontario's first financial literacy graduation requirement, reintroducing modernized home economic education, and elevating higher math standards on our educators, we are laying out Ontario's comprehensive plan to elevate math and financial literacy and life skills in the classroom. So we are proud of this achievement today. We're grateful for the many stakeholders supporting this plan. And I also want to thank the partners who are with us today, including Patty Levitt-Reid, the Chief Financial Commentator from Home Equity Bank. She's been a brilliant source of inspiration for many young people, new Canadians and women alike, in advancing financial literacy education. So please welcome Patty Levitt-Reid. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow. Can I look at you and say, It's time?
It's time.
It's time. I couldn't be more thrilled that financial literacy will be a new education requirement for high school graduates. This essential life skill will help set students up for lifelong success. I have long believed that an updated version of home economics would better equip our graduates with the life skills needed to thrive in today's environment. By including financial literacy, our students will be empowered to create personal budgets, set financial goals, manage debt, and protect themselves against fraud. These skills, they are theoretical knowledge and practical tools that will guide them throughout their lives. But that's not all. Exploring new career paths in STEM and skilled trades with the help of experienced and modernized career education programming is a win for both the students and the economy. By equipping our students with financial literacy, we are investing in their future and the prosperity of our society. Canadians have contacted me for years, suggesting that financial literacy should be taught in school. I agree. And I'm here today because of your voices and belief in the importance of this cause. And now it is going to happen. Financial literacy will allow our students to make informed decisions. They will come to appreciate how time and compounding work when saving money. However, if they owe money, they can destroy a financial plan. And I have seen this happen all too often. Home economics will help students understand the money mistakes that they may be making but shouldn't be. I have seen many let their cash sit idle in a savings account, and when you factor in taxes and inflation, they are probably losing money, yet they didn't know it. You know, thinking in after-tax dollars, the fear of negotiating to get the best price on a good or service, or abdicating responsibility to someone else are all behaviors that can be changed. The new curriculum will coach students on interviewing skills and assessments and teach them how not to negotiate against themselves in a new job opportunity or an interview. Education is the great equalizer. When you can see how much you own when it comes to money, how much you owe, you're equipped to make changes. That is financial literacy, and that is empowering. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Victor to the podium. Where did Victor go? Victor.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Victor, and I'm honored to speak today both as a student and passionate advocate for financial literacy. Imagine this. You save some money and earn 1% interest, but inflation increases by 2%. After a year, can you buy more, less, or the same with your savings? Here's another scenario. Which is safer, investing in a single company stock or a mutual fund that spreads your money across many stocks? And finally, if you put $100 in a savings account earning 2% interest annually, will you have more, less, or exactly $102 after 5 years? These might seem like straightforward questions, but they are known as the benchmark Big Three that are used to assess global financial literacy. Yet, only about 43% of Canadians can answer all three of these correctly. This gap in understanding can have serious consequences, especially during a cost of living crisis. As students, we face a rapidly changing world, from shifting demographics with various implications on the future of pension systems to emerging technologies like fintech. Financial education has never been more important. Over the years, students have turned to leading not-for-profits like Target Alpha to supplement their financial literacy knowledge through school clubs and events. However, after already embedding financial literacy as a mandatory part of our curriculum in every grade in 2020, and now taking the next step to add financial literacy graduation as a requirement that ensures every student, regardless of background, has access to these essential tools. Financial literacy is undoubtedly most impactful when it's taught at a young age. So I would like to thank the Ministry of Education for its continued efforts to help students not only secure their own financial future, but also build generational wealth in the process.
We will now open up the floor for questions from the media. Please step up to the mic and state your name and outlet. As a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up. We'll start with our first reporter.
Chris, are you the only reporter?
I think I might be the only reporter.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if you can explain a little bit about this financial literacy requirement.
Yeah.
Given the EQAO is involved, is it going to be like the EQAO test that exists? Do students have to get a 70% in grade 10 math? Just explain a little bit more how it's going to work.
Sure. So the financial literacy requirement will be administered in the grade 10 math course. We are essentially using the same model as the Ontario literacy test. In order to graduate in this province, you must be literate in reading and writing at a grade 10 math standard. We're elevating the importance of financial literacy as an equal prerequisite in order to graduate. Yes, you must be able to read and write in this province. You also have to have financial literacy and confidence in understanding how to personally budget and live a life in this province and country. So we are elevating that expectation. The implementation is for September of 25. We're leveraging TVO as the delivery agent in partnership with EQAO to help us build that program. And look, we really welcome the support of Main Street families, educators, and financial literacy experts, all of whom agree with the problem definition. Too many young people, notwithstanding a valiant effort in our schools, is graduating without those fundamental financial literacy skills. So this elevates the criteria, it elevates the standard, it frankly forces all of us, educators, government, families, and students, we're gonna have to work harder and smarter to elevate that knowledge from theoretical knowledge, as Patty said, to practical knowledge that they can apply to every day in their lives.
So will students be writing it like they do the literacy test all at the same time and online?
It would use a similar model using TVO as the delivery agent. Details of it will be forthcoming, but yes, in short, we would have a standardized test that would be rolled out in the grade 10 math course. And the specifics of that will be unveiled in the coming weeks and months as we build out the system. But the program's intent is to create a standard test and assessment of mathematical competence when it comes to numeracy skills. And what it signals to students and to the marketplace is that we're getting serious on actually measuring the knowledge, the retention, and the application of financial literacy knowledge. Yes, we included it, as Victor mentioned, in every grade. It was our government that instituted mandatory learning on financial literacy from grade 1 right to grade 9. We're proud of that, teaching basic money skills and personal responsibility. We literally now, under our program, require students to build a budget for the year after graduation as a requirement to get your diploma. So that's the practical knowledge we're leaning into today that is well supported by industry leaders, job creators, and frankly, many educators themselves.
Have you held any consultations with the teacher unions on this? Because as you know, they're not fans of EQAO as it is.
We have actually consulted with roughly 300 organizations between 2021 and 2022 on a remodernized secondary diploma. We have been thinking about this for years. And we understand the problem. And so all the education space, among many others, including private industry, they've all come together giving us feedback. The overwhelming response of job creators, most specifically, is that this is a gap. And it is a competitive disadvantage unless we actually fix it with a comprehensive plan that elevates curriculum learning on financial literacy, on personal budgeting, on the impacts of taxation, mortgages, and interest rates. This is honestly, for all the things we could teach our kids, it is that type of knowledge that parents are demanding from the education system, practical learning that will help a young person pursue a life of productivity, they're able to teach them those money skills that they could save and they could one day own an asset, be it a home or a car. We still want to give young people that fire in their belly to pursue their dreams and to set goals and to build a plan to achieve it, and with measurements and benchmarks to do that. So this is really about reimagining the diploma. It's about inspiring young people to believe they can succeed in Canada, and it's about elevating practical knowledge right across the curriculum.
Can I ask about guidance counselors as well? What are you trying to get at there, and how are you going to hire career coaches amidst a teacher shortage?
So the guidance counselor system has not been overhauled in 13 years, which is, again, a disadvantage. Many young people, when you look at the feedback we received from exit surveys that were done in the past in grade 8 and 12, The concern was that there needs to be a greater synergization, connection between local job opportunities and young people. We have this bizarre paradox of jobs without people and people without jobs, and yet we have young people who've got skills and the capacity to work. And so we, in education, need to do a better job working with local chambers of commerce and boards of trade to connect the dots, to create immediate economic opportunity and dignity to young people. And so we are reimagining guidance because it's been stagnant for many years. Keep in mind, the prerequisite of a guidance counselor is a university path. The idea of layering in the career counselors, the fact that the government is allocating $14 million of additional funding, this is to hire people who have pursued their apprenticeship path. A different type of knowledge that we're embedding into the classroom. Every grade 9 and 10 student, like 350,000 students in the first year and every year, will have the ability in small groups, roughly 4 to 5 kids, 30 minutes twice a year, to meet with people who've lived and worked in the private economy, be it in the skilled trades or in a STEM discipline. But those types of individuals being brought into the classroom with specific knowledge on pathways for these kids to be able to pursue higher learning, be it in skilled trades, apprenticeship, or STEM education, that's the value add we're trying to layer into the guidance system. We're also creating higher expectations and standardization of our guidance counselors. And one of the expectations is that local labor market connection. I want young people to pursue co-op opportunities. We've expanded it massively in Ontario schools. You look at models abroad that inspire Ontario and Canada, the German model of working and learning, the infused, integrated approach. That's what the future of work needs to be in this province. So we understand we're, we're in the sense of keeping up with the rate of change in the economy. We know where the puck is going in this respect. We're just trying to get ahead of it, and that's what today's announcement is really important.
Minister Francis from CTV. ETFO teachers have just been awarded 11.25% by an arbitrator. Just your thoughts on that?
Our priority was keeping kids in school. We're elated that children are able to benefit from a 4-year program, 3 more years of peace. These kids have been through so much, and that stability, that focus on academics is our number 1 priority. So we are pleased that kids are learning, and more importantly, they're going to be there without any risk of instability for 3 years as we go back to basics. We elevate reading, writing, math, and STEM disciplines, and try to really improve not just the academic success of children, but the mental and physical health of kids too.
Is there any status on other teachers' contracts?
They're all done. The arbitrators are rendering decisions. As of yesterday, OSSTF and EDFO, the public elementary and high school educators, those numbers have been released, and the arbitrator will adjudicate a decision on his timeline. I expect in the coming weeks, but it really is left up to him. I'm not involved in that. We find out at the same time you do.
As you were speaking about this morning, sewing buttons and nutrition and things like that, do you think that should be left to parents?
Look, I think the education system needs to complement the learning that happens at home, but also recognize it may not happen in every home. And so that's the concept of the great equalizer. It creates a standard expectation of what every student should learn. And when I hear of families and parents coming to me saying, my kid can't write a check, can't do basic types of learning and or experiences at home that are really practical knowledge, that's a risk if we don't fill the gap. And so there's a variety of life skills that we want to emphasize in the curriculum. Home ec, a modernized home ec, a reimagined home ec for both boys and girls in our school system could be very empowering, so that we actually arm young people with the critical skills to lead a productive, safe life in this country. So I really believe life skills is a vulnerability unless we infuse it in the curriculum, which is why the consultation with all of you, parents and entrepreneurs and job creators and likewise academics and educators, we need all of you to give us that feedback because we are determined to strengthen life skills across the curriculum.
That concludes our press conference. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay.